Okay, so now when we're discussing on that wedge plus one, when we're discussing one of the most important switches that you're going to see in the wedge plus one. So I draw our D1 or D2, kind of our F1, our F2 in the middle of the ice. So we have our bumper, we have our QB, we have this could be the right flanker on the power play, we have our left flanker, and they have their low player. All right, so inside of our structure, F2 is going to be taking away this bumper. Now, here's the kind of rule of thumb with the wedge plus one. So if I drew an imaginary line down this dot lane, so when I say dot lane, I mean like the dot structure. So this dot lane is what we use a lot just to identify a lot of our switches. So QB passes to the flanker. F1, you're going to angle, you're going to steer, you're going to attack, force that puck to stay on that side of the ice. Now, here's the rule of thumb. If the QB is inside the dots, so if this QB remains inside the dots, F1 steering and the puck goes back to the QB, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense now that F1 is out here to have to stop and drive all the way back and take over from that QB who's inside the dots already. So what we do here is if the QB is inside the dot lane, F2's responsibility is to go right away. F1, because they've driven down, they're below the top of the circles at this point, it makes way more sense for them to get back inside, and now they become F2. So F2 takes over anytime the QB is outside the dots and there's a pass back to the QB, F2 takes over and becomes F1. F1 stops and starts, gets back in the middle, and that's the switch. All right, so opposite now, if the puck moves to the flanker and the QB moves outside the dots, so now we have the QB outside the dots, and this flanker's got the puck, F1 steering, and it goes back up to the QB. Doesn't make sense for F2 to leave, vacate, and drive all the way over here outside the dots. Now F1 can stop. They're 2 steps from being in a good shooting lane, and they can re-attack the QB. So if the QB is outside the dots, so they're outside this dot lane, F1 remains F1. If the QB's inside the dots and gets a pass back, F1's got to become F2. F2 takes over right away. So these are the 2 major switches that happen, and this is kind of what I like to use. So I call this a back pass. Like if it goes to the flanker and it's a back pass back to the QB, anytime a back pass and the QB is inside the dots, then F2 becomes F1, F1 becomes F2, and then anytime the back pass goes to the QB and they're outside the dots, F1 just stays F1, F2 remains F2. We still have a layer to the net. F2 just maintains, and we have time. F1's right here already to just like in a game. If this is this would be F3 coming into the zone, right? F2 would take away the middle slot. You'd have your support forward. F3, they're going to take away the angle right away, and then force. So everyone's already in good positions to remember that. So just communicate your switches. But this is a big one on the PK when using the wedge plus one. Very simple to understand, and all it is about the QB, whether they're inside that dot lane or outside that dot lane.
For more content like this, visit the Game Transfer Blueprint, your ultimate hockey coaching platform.